Hi and welcome to this video 10 of our video series on networks and graphs, and we're going to talk about project planning today. This is from Unit 4, Topic 3. So the learning goals there, and this is Chapter 12 of the Cambridge textbook. This is the start of it, and it's all about scheduling things, and you'll see the link here between Chapter 11 and Chapter 12 as we reintroduce the idea of flow networks but in a scheduling sense. So a project network is a series of tasks required to carry out a project. Some of these tasks may have to take place first. Take getting ready for school. So if you're getting ready for school, you need to, and this is, I presume, and some of you will have additional things, but I've just done a nice simple one. You'll need to get dressed, have a shower, have breakfast, brush your teeth, pack bags, travel to school. So we're going to set up a flow network to represent this project. So let's have a look at, first of all, the basic diagram. We have a start and a finish. And remember from our last lesson, that's our source and our sink. Source is starting at nothing, and sink is when we finish all those tasks. Now, F has to happen last. So obviously, we have to do A, B, C, D, and E before we travel to school. Otherwise something will go wrong. You might argue that you could take a toothbrush with you or your breakfast with you and you could do those at school, but let's just say for simplicity that F has to happen last here. A has to happen after B. So obviously if you get dressed first and then have a shower, that's going to cause you some issues. So B has to occur before A. And equally, you would like D to occur after C. You'd like to have breakfast and then brush your teeth. That would make sense. And again, you might argue with me on that, but I'm going to say it would make sense. So we've got these parts of the network, B to A and C to D. And B, C, and E can all start at the same time. So you could get up and have a shower first, or you could get up and have breakfast first, or you could get up and pack your bag first. So they can all start at the same time. And so we get B, C, and E like this. We get F there towards the finish. And F must be preceded by A, D, and E. We've already talked about that. But because B leads naturally on to A and C leads naturally on to D, we get this flow network. It's not an overly exciting one, but it indicates at the start that you could start with any one of the 3 tasks that are sensible to start with out of the 6. And then after you've done B, you have to have done B to do A. Now you could obviously do B, which is have a shower, and then do E. Not that in this context you want to do that, but doing B doesn't naturally mean you have to do A straight after it. Or for example, you might get up and have breakfast first, and then go and have a shower and get dressed and pack your bag, and then brush your teeth. So doing C does not imply you have to then straight away do D. It's just saying that you have to do D after C's already been done. And of course, we include arrows to show the flow of this network. In this case, this is one of those situations where edges are more important than vertices. So let's have a look at a flow network below and talk about how we would make a cup of tea. And I've asked the question, is this network correct? And interestingly, there'll be people that tell me it isn't, and there'll be people that tell me that it is. So making a cup of tea is also controversial, let's say. So A, boil the kettle. B, put the tea bag in the cup. C, put the water on. D, put the milk in the cup. E, stir. F, remove the tea bag. G, enjoy with a bicky. So I have to do A or B first, I'm saying. Could I put the water in the cup? Not until I boil the kettle. Could I put the milk in the cup? I could, but I would argue that you'd want to put the tea bag and water in there first. So let's say no. Could I stir first? Well, it doesn't make much sense. I suppose I could, but it doesn't make sense. Can I remove the tea bag? Well, I haven't put it in yet. So yeah, A and B have to happen first. I'm suggesting that D can't happen until I've done A. So I can't put milk in the cup until I boil the kettle. And again, that's arguable, but here, this example, we're just explaining the network. So D can't happen till A, C can't happen till B, so I can't put water in the cup until I put a tea bag in the cup. Probably very arguable, but this is just an example. And then E, I can't stir until I've done A, B, C, and D. I can't do F until I've removed it, until I've stirred. I can't remove the tea bag, and then I can't obviously enjoy it So I think if we're talking about arguing, G definitely has to be last, and A and B probably definitely have to be first, and then you can argue the stuff in the middle. The important thing here is that you can interpret what I'm suggesting is a way to make a cup of tea. And I've kind of done it deliberately wrong, so no one will argue with me. Here's another flow network, another example, and I'm going to answer these questions. So, what task immediately precedes task F? So if you go and have a look at task F here, you can see that the things that immediately precede, that have to happen immediately before F, they are task C and task B. Now, if the question was what tasks precede F, well, you would also have to have done A before you've done C, and therefore A is a preceder to F, but it's not an immediate precedence. So C and B are the two that have to happen immediately before F can take place in this context. What task does A immediately precede? A immediately precedes D and C. I can see that there. Just swap this off. How many tasks are there? Well, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There are 7 tasks. How many tasks must happen before E can happen? So before E can happen, D has to have happened. Before D can happen, A has to have happened. But you may not have done B, C, or F yet. So before E can happen, 2 things. And those 2 things are A and D. So there's the answer to those questions. That's the analysis on a flow network that represents a project plan. So we're going to talk about precedence tables, but first this. You know you can't run to a campsite. You can only ran because it's past tense. I hope you get it. If not, I'm sorry. Precedence tables. We can also write up a precedence network as a precedence table. So here's that example above, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, no context. Now I've set up already the precedence table. So I'm saying that when you start, you can do activity A and B with nothing before. You can just do them straight away. But activity C can only be done when you've done A. So you have to have done A to do C. And you can't do D unless you've done A as well. So this is my precedence table, and you can see immediate predecessors as part of my table. Now, I could do E, but to do E, I have to have done D, and to do D, I have to have done A. So it shows that E needs to be immediately preceded by D, and therefore A as well. F, I can do, but I have to have done B and C. And I can't do C unless I've done A, so it shows that 3 things have to happen before I can do F. And G, I can do, but I have to have done E and F. You can see them both feeding into that point at the start of G. So this is my precedence table, and you'll need to be able to set up a precedence table. You'll need to be able to go from a network to a table, but you'll also be able to need to be able to go from a table to a network. So these are 2 skills you'll need to practice. Let's look at an example. We're going to draw up a precedence table for the project network below. And then we're going to draw up a project network for this precedence table. So I won't do it the whole table, but I will just mock one up now, and you'll see it in speed play. Okay, so there's my precedence table with no borders, and I've got my activity written as act, my immediate predecessor as IP, and let's have a look. A, I can do straight away. F, I can do straight away because they both have no immediate predecessors. B, I can do, but I need to have done A first. C, I can do, but I need to have done B first. So that one's pretty easy. E, I can do, but I need to have done F first. And G, I can do, but I need to have done F first. Hopefully you can see that. D, I can do, but I need to have done E first. H, I can do, but I need to have done G first. I can do, I need to add another one actually, K. I can do, but I need to have done C, D, and H first. They all feed into that point at the start of I. J, I can do, but I need to have done I first. And K, I can do, but I need to have done J first. And that is my precedence table for this flow network. And now we're going to set up a project network or a flow network for this precedence table, starting with, let's have a look. So what's this saying? It's saying there's a lot of stuff, immediate predecessors to A, B, C, and D, but I can do E, F, and G without any predecessor. So let's set them up. E, F, and G. Now, A requires B, but I haven't got B on there yet. B requires C and D, but I don't have them on there yet. C requires F and E. Oh no, C requires F, so C's a carry on from F, and D's a carry on from E. But D and C finish at B, so let's bring this together, or in fact I could do that. C requires F, and D requires E, and then that flows into B. So there's B, which required C and D, and A required B, and there's my finish. But of course G requires nothing and nothing requires G, so I'm not going to finish G there. I'm actually going to have G. Oh, I've just done that. Can't seem to take it back. There we go. Go all the way to the finish. So here's my start, here's my finish. I had to be a little bit adaptable, so it's always worth not actually finishing the lines unless you've got there the thing that's going to happen next. But you see that my G didn't actually then connect to anything, so the G just went straight to the finish. And I can do G at any point, and then it just sort of zones out at the finish while everything else is happening. So there you have it. That is project networks and precedence tables, how to sketch them up and how to relate them. And you can do questions 1A to C and question 2 now from exercise 12A. All the best.